Angsted teen music, we're throwing fists in the air because we don't effing care. Because this is
The
an
following
80s song
podcast
and
contains
censorship's
spoilers
a
for
thing.
St. Elmo's Fire. You have been warned.
I don't know, it went into like a commercial there at the end.
It did, yeah.
I don't know how, whatever. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of KFR News Radio. This is your host, Benjamin Button, along with your host, Miguel Me Sexe Gusto.
Oh, hello. How did they say hello in the 80s? Hi.
Yo.
Gnarly.
I think Emilio Estevez actually said, "What's up, dude?" at one point. So
What's up, dude?
I think that's the go-to.
So not much has changed since
What's up, dude?
since the 80s. How you doing, Glenn?
Living the dream here out with this. I don't know how to feel. You know, I feel like I should rebel, like at all costs, and be my own person, who I don't know who that is yet, and that's only because I just watched St. Elmo's Fire. But Mike, how are you?
I am okay. You know, the world is burning. I got a film shoot coming up filled with anxiety about many things. But I'm okay otherwise.
I like to hear that. Besides the whole world burning and anxiety-driven parts.
Oh, you know.
Did you watch any movies?
I did watch some movies, and we're starting with me this week, which is weird. So I watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, total of 9. Many were rewatches.
Passed me, actually. That's still nuts.
Many were rewatches. The first one was a rewatch of The Road to El Dorado because I realized that I have not seen it had not seen it since we went on a little field trip to see it when I was in, I believe, 5th grade.
Yeah, that definitely needed to change.
Yeah, so we went to the theater to see it, and I remembered liking it, and I remembered parts from it. That one character is thick with seven C's.
Double C's, yes.
And you know, those animators knew exactly what they were doing.
They always do.
Yeah,
just look at Pixar.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's not quite as high up on my list as it is with you. I know you love.
Yeah, I love that movie.
It's a great movie, but it just doesn't wow me.
Understandable.
Other than those thick hips. Then
we're talking about the Chieftain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Chieftain,
Sick.
played by Edward James Olmos.
Yep.
Then while the world was burning, I watched a movie called The Little Hours, which I fully anticipated it to be bad, and it was pretty bad.
Okay.
It's
good that you went in that way, though.
Yeah, it's a movie with Alison Brie, Aubrey Plaza being annoying as usual, David Franco, Kate Micucci, Fred Armisen, John C. Reilly, Molly Shannon, a whole bunch of people.
The whole gang.
It's one of those movies by those filmmakers who makes everything improvised. But in this, it just feels, I don't know, it doesn't work in my opinion. It's they had fun. I'm glad that they had fun, but it doesn't work for me.
Also understandable.
Yeah. Then, to cheer myself up on Wednesday, after the world was burning, I watched the very happy-go-lucky movie No Country for Old Men.
Oh, that is the brightest of movies, honestly.
And it cheered me right the fuck up.
It's like Easter in a basket, you know?
Yeah.
If the basket was a movie filled with carnage.
Yes. But as we know, that movie's fantastic. It is worthy of all praise that it gets.
Truly is.
And then I watched 30 Minutes or Less with Jesse Eisenberg. And oh my god, Aziz Ansari.
Thank you.
And Danny McBride. Oh my god, that was way too long.
Yeah.
And had I seen this before I knew the story that it was based on, I probably would have had fun with it. But knowing the story that it's based on, and the guy who had the bomb strapped to his chest while making he was forced to do a robbery and everything, knowing that he died, it just kind of felt cheap and not great. And you know, a little poor taste.
Yeah.
So it's
that's definitely a movie that I remember seeing a little bit in theater, doing theater walks, but never actually got around to actually watching it.
Yeah, and like they advertise that it's based on a true story.
Actually, did it come out before I worked at the movies?
It came out 2011, so I think.
All
so.
right, so way before.
Yeah,
I worked at the movies.
but yeah, like it.
You know what
advertised
it was?
what?
It's the same concept, except for it was me passing the living room, and my mom and stepdad watching it. Same concept, different location.
But yeah, it it advertised as being based on a true story. So you think, oh, this guy lived and he went through this crazy thing. No, the dude died. Mm-hmm. He was betrayed by friends. Yes, they were his friends that strapped him to the. He was autistic. He was or had Asperger's. I don't know if he was fully autistic, but a whole bunch of sad things in that story. So yeah, it did not age well. But if it weren't based on a true story, it'd be an okay movie. But
yeah, I definitely see it.
Going through this list just makes me wonder why I was torturing myself like this. Then to cheer myself up even more from the terribleness of the world, I watched the documentary on Jim Jones and the Jonestown mass suicide called
Yeah, you really went all out this week.
Truth and Lies, Jonestown. It was extremely fascinating, and I was very compelled by it, but definitely not a cheery movie. Then Caitlin, we were thinking about what to watch, and Caitlin was like, "Hey, we haven't watched Mulan yet," and I was like, "Yeah, you haven't watched Mulan yet," because we were supposed to watch it together, but like I got the impression that she didn't want to watch it anymore, so I just watched it by myself.
And you put that in shambles immediately.
Yeah, so then she made me watch it again, as is my punishment. And it's still very mediocre and not worthy of any note whatsoever. And then I watched St. Elmo's Fire. We'll get to that in a minute. Then I watched The Brothers Bloom, directed by Rian Johnson and written by him. It's got that normal Rian Johnson wit, filled with, good, not genre switching, but going from comedy to drama. Definitely his weakest movie, in my opinion, but still pretty solid. It's got Rachel Weisz in it.
Over The Last Jedi?
Quality-wise, yeah. Maybe not story-wise, but definitely quality-wise. But yeah, it is what it is. It's Rian Johnson in between Brick and Looper, so it was kind of like a mixture of not the sci-fi aspect of Looper, but as far as quality. Between Brick and Looper. Then I watched a Korean film called Nowhere to Hide from 1999. It's based, it's that same category that they have on Criterion Channel, New Korean Cinema. And this is just like a cop and drama, buddy cop movie, but like not a funny one, like a dramatic buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
And it's very stylistic, very ambitious in its style, and it's clear to see why it's considered a classic, at least in style alone. Story itself is typical for detective movies, but I enjoyed it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's all I watched this week. What did you watch this week?
Wow. Well, I actually kind of went off in the beginning of the week, like literally right after we did the podcast last week. I was like, you know what? I feel like I kind of got to catch up now. Like, not that you didn't have a worldwide achievement of 366 movies last year or anything. But
68.
I was like, maybe I should. Anyway, so I started off with. I feel like I didn't start off with this. I feel like there's a movie before this, but whatever. We're gonna start off with The Fog, which was John Carpenter's original The Fog in 1980. It's got a bunch of people that he uses all the time for his movies, including Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, see, I grew up originally watching the one with the Smallville actors, like Thomas Wells or whatever. Going back to this, it's hard to really see both of them as good movies. I know a lot of people love this movie.
The Fog.
But I thought it was just, I just thought it was extremely okay, in my opinion, there. And I actually think I like the one with Thomas Wells more, if that is his name. But I don't want to get punched in a crowd for that, so I'm just going to leave that where it is. Anyway, moving on, I also watched Hearts Beat Loud, which is a movie with Nick Offerman and Kiersey Clemons, which was a nice little I wouldn't say really feel good family movie. It was pretty cute in the way dad's trying to start a band with his daughter to try to connect a little bit. He was an aspiring artist, and she was just like, "Dad, I want to go to college." And then they actually came out with a hit single, and it was it was a pretty nice film.
I actually like that. That's the reverse of the typical film trope where it's like this overbearing parent wants them to become a doctor and they just want to be a musician or something else. And this is the opposite, where she just wants to become a doctor and her dad's just like, no, you got to rock and roll, man.
This is a once in a lifetime chance.
Yeah, it was a nice change of pace. Also, Ted Danson's in it.
And Tony
playing
Collette.
A bartender. Yep, and Tony Collette. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I actually saw that in theaters when it came out a few years back.
It's definitely a good movie. And off of that movie, again, these are all movies I watched on the same day. After that, I watched Booksmart, which I know had been getting a lot of praise on like how well done it is, and Olivia Wilde's, I think, directorial debut. I can't remember for sure if that's true or not. But I watched it, and I was kind of blown away with how funny it was. You know, it's not like I was expecting it to like be bad, but I was also felt like I was going to get overwhelmed by other people saying how good it was, and then it actually didn't live up to that. But it actually was really good. It was like what is the one movie that everybody can compare this to?
Lady Bird.
No, I was the other the.
It gave me Lady Bird vibes.
God, I'm gonna lose my mind. It's got Jesus, Glenn. I can't think of any names. Jonah Hill, Michael Cera.
Oh, Superbad.
It's like it's for me. It was like the girl version of Superbad,
starring Jonah Hill's sister.
Is it really?
Beanie Feldstein is Jonah Hill's sister.
I did not know that. That's actually kind of hilarious. Yeah. Now I can see the resemblance now that I'm seeing it. That's insane. But yeah, I was actually very much impressed with this movie. I didn't know that was Jonah Hill's sister, and it definitely fits because like they've both got their own like going to college, like the high school thing movie going for them. Like this is their last party before they go to college or anything, and that's kind of funny to think about that they both have that. But anyway, it was actually way better than I thought, and then after that, I looked up like what Olivia Wilde has been doing since, and then just a bunch of drama about Harry Styles and Jason Sudeikis knowing about a relationship that her and Olivia. I was like, well, okay, we're moving on. And then I watched Clint Eastwood's not directorial debut, but his debut in the Western film genre, Hang 'em High.
Ooh.
I was just in the mood for a Western for some reason, so I just put it on. It wasn't bad. Like it definitely shows its age for sure on a lot of the things, especially like the I don't want to put this so bluntly, but how Clint his character, which is Jed Cooper, kind of just like this girl's a widow, and she's like, oh well, I'm just a widow, and we're having a picnic together, and he's like, well, you wouldn't invite me to a picnic unless we're about to make out, and then just starts smooching her. I was like, oh,
maybe she just wanted to have a picnic, Clint.
Yeah, that's exactly what she says, which was really cool. She's like, I just wanted to have a picnic. And he's like, whoa. And then he proceeds to kiss her again, and then it goes into the trope of like girl falls for the guy, and it's kind of weird. But I mean, other than that, it was a pretty good movie.
Why were people so horny back in the day? Like,
no idea.
Is it because there was a stigma against like pornography and everything? So they were just like,
probably.
I gotta rape this girl.
Gotta get our rocks off to me kissing this lady.
Yeah, it's so weird to me.
Anyway.
But
overall, it was a pretty decent film. I think I gave it a 3 out of the 5 on Letterboxd. But moving on to the last film that I watched before St. Elmo's Fire, which was Salina, which I had remembered. This was more of a rewatch, if I'm being honest.
You watched the Jennifer Lawrence version, right? Or not Jennifer Lawrence, Jennifer
Lopez, for sure.
Lopez, sorry. There's
yes,
a new one, or I think it's a miniseries. There's a new one, and I wasn't sure if you watched that one or not.
No, I had watched the one from '97 with Jennifer Lopez, which I remember my mom watching a few times when I was younger. Roughly, obviously, when I was 4 years old when this movie came out. And I remember it being pretty good from what I had remembered at the age of solid 4. But I've had this thing going on with my life lately where anything that I find out is based on real events, which, I mean, I knew this one was. I have to look up and I have to go in full research mode and put on my detective glasses, which is literally just a monocle and a magnifying glass. And then I dive deep into the what happened, like the cases or the history of things. And this was one of them, and it's kind of nutty. Selena is a huge icon when it comes to Hispanic music and stuff like that, and she was one of the best, and she's the queen. And now you got me doing it. Jennifer Lopez, I feel like portrayed that really, really well.
Yeah.
And this movie was great, in my opinion. But other than that, that is the last thing I saw before St. Elmo's Fire. Yeah. Miguel.
Yeah, I haven't seen Selena since I was like 11 or something. I didn't see it probably until I was like 12, maybe. But yeah, I just remember it being like Jennifer Lopez's best role, not Lawrence Lopez.
Yeah, it's definitely for sure her best role that I've seen so far.
Yeah. But yeah, that's if that's all you watch, you got any news, or should we just jump right in?
It's going to be a quick one for me. Deadpool 3's got a rated R confirmation.
Good.
So they are good to go on that.
Because they started making the first one before Disney bought out Fox. Or the second one, sorry, not the first one. So I was worried that this third one might be toned down, and I'm glad that Disney realizes that there is money in R-rated movies from time to time.
How hard that R rating is going to go, I can only imagine, and what they'll allow, but I know because of this, they are definitely going to try to shoot for more R-rated movies besides Deadpool. I know Blade's coming, it's in its fruitions so far, so hopefully also...
You don't have to do it under the Disney flag, obviously. Obviously, they changed 20th Century Fox to just 20th Century Pictures or whatever it is. So that was my biggest... I mean, I still hate the fact that Disney's buying all of these studios, but my biggest concern is they historically have avoided R-rated films like The Plague, which, 20 years ago, I understand R-rated pictures didn't make that much money. Now they make a lot of money. People our age who are now old enough to see R-rated movies.
Now people want to see this stuff.
Yeah, we're more likely to cough up the money to go to theaters than older crowds were, which I love that fact. Older people still go to movies, but not nearly as much as people our age do, statistically. So yeah, I am stoked on that. And also, we're not as prude as older generations.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. But if that's all you got, we should jump into St. Elmo's Fire, which doesn't really have much to do with the movie other than it's the name of a bar and there is no fire.
Yeah, literally nothing to do with anything.
I can't remember who met who first or who fell in love with who first. All I can remember is the 7 of us always together.
Well, it's not just infatuation, Kevin. She's not just a girl. She's the only evidence of God that I can find on this entire planet.
Where did you meet Wendy again?
Prison.
Hi, Felicia, how you doing? Me? Oh, it ain't easy being me.
All those nights we stayed up talking? How come you never made a pass at me?
All right. St. Elmo's Fire. A group of friends just out of college struggle with adulthood. directed by Joel Schumacher, written by Joel Schumacher and Carl Kurlander, stars Demi Moore, Rob Lowe, Andrew McCarthy, Emilio Estevez, Judd Nelson. There's a lot of people in this movie.
Ali Sheedy, Mayor Wainningham, and then everyone else
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really matter, except for maybe Andy McDowell.
Yeah, there's definitely a solid 6 or 7 people that actually were the huge
Yeah.
people in this movie.
Yeah.
And Blake
can
Clark,
I just?
he was the bar hand. He's in a lot of Adam Sandler movies. I pointed him out super easy. I was like, that's him.
Yeah. He was also the dad, Sean's dad in Boy Meets World. That's what that was like the first thing that I knew him from. So that every time I see him, I'm like, oh, Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
But can I just tell you my favorite part of this movie? And I'm not saying favorite like it's good or anything.
Yeah, go ahead.
This movie, they go through so many changes. It literally feels like it's been years since they graduated college.
I know.
And then she's just like, I thought I'd have it together when I was 22. I'm like, you guys are barely out of college and you're already behaving like this?
Yup.
Like, what the fuck is up?
Mm-hmm.
I just
Literally
had to,
falling into shambles after college.
I just died laughing when she said, I'm 22 and I don't have my life together. I'm like, oh, honey, please.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Honey, please.
Honey,
But
please.
yeah, I had originally picked this movie because I heard it referenced a lot within a few songs. I can't tell you those songs off the top of my head, obviously, because why
Enough
would
to
I?
have it on your radar.
Yeah, and then between that and just knowing that it was also on the radar of all these Brat Pack is what the term is called, teen drama movies that came out in the 80s. I knew it was there. I knew it was like in the background, but I had never seen it. I never really heard much of it, and I wanted to know about it. Little did I know that I reverse psychologied myself into not wanting to figure it out afterwards. Take it back, Glenn. Take it back, please.
Yeah,
It's like,
this movie, I won't go so far as to say it's terrible, but it did not age well at all. You and I had a quick text message conversation when you were watching this afternoon, where like the first 5 minutes are so problematic and filled with so many things that are just like taboo today, and not even just like sexual things, which comes later down the road, but the one guy is drunk driving, crashes, really hurts the girl that was in the car. Well, it's not really hurts, but she
just
probably definitely got a
slightly hurts
concussion, and it's like it's played off as just like kind of like a joke, like, oh, he got drunk driving accident. Oh, I'm gonna pay off these cops. Oh, you believe in premarital sex, which like,
Yeah,
what do you mean? Do you believe?
throws a whole lot at you late in the literal first 5 minutes. There's like Mike said, there's the drunk driving accident that you find out about. They're all like shrugging it off their shoulders like it was nothing, and then the guy, Rob Lowe's character, he's in the ambulance still instead of in the actual hospital. He's like, "Hey, honey, do you believe in premarital sex?" And they both laugh it off casually, like it's nothing.
Not like it's not sexual harassment.
And then you got Emilio Estevez trying to have Rob Lowe's character not be arrested, and then so you're getting a lot of character development right off the bat here, and then,
not character development
after...
to make you like the characters. It makes you hate
no,
the
yeah,
characters like right away.
No,
like I
absolutely.
just wanted nothing to do with them after watching that scene.
Right after the gang leaves, there's a doctor that you find out has a connection, or air quotes connection, with Emilio Estevez's character, and then she brings this small child. Yeah, and then she brings a small child into the ER room, which you assume is the kid's mother, which I don't think that's healthy, nor should the kids see anything that's probably going on in there. But a lot was handed to you right off the bat, and I texted Mike, I'm like, yeah, so this isn't going great.
I mean, I texted you when I watched it and just said, this movie did not age well at all. It's from 85, and pretty much everything in it is just like the worst possible way to handle the situations that are in this. It's the the thing that bothered me the most is that every single male character was a piece of shit, and it tried to be played off as like
and their
boys.
mind was based around sex entirely. Pretty much.
It was played off like boys will be boys. And let me just break this down for you. So Rob Lowe is the drunk driver. He's also like a father who does not pay any attention to his kid. He tries to rape Demi Moore's character, or at least force her to have sex, which is rape, but like it doesn't happen. So I don't know. I'm a stupid and don't know if there's another term for that, but he tries to rape her. Then Judd Nelson cheats on Ali Sheedy because not because she won't have sex with him, because she won't have sex with him without a condom until they're married, and she's also not ready for marriage.
Yep.
And those three, while being terrible or not nearly as bad as Emilio Estevez taking ownership of Andy McDowell's character, who is the doctor he's infatuated with, who they're not dating at all. He acts like he owns her.
They only went on a date.
They only went on a date. He is infatuated with her. He won't leave her alone. He won't stop harassing her. He invites her to a party that she does not go to. He goes to her apartment, finds out that she's in the mountains with her boyfriend, goes to said mountains and to yell at her and everything, and acts like this is all her fault. And then she returns, she treats it just like, oh, it's a romantic gesture. Nothing about what he did was a romantic gesture. It wasn't cute. It wasn't like, oh, he just loves her. It was abusive. It was harassment. It was stalking. That's what it was.
You could literally rewrite this movie to literally just be a horror movie.
You could.
And with Emilio Estevez being a straight psychotic stalker.
Yeah.
It is scary.
Yeah. And then Andrew McCarthy, who is the least shitty of all the men, is still a very manipulative guy, where like they go to his room, and him and Ali Sheedy go to his room, and she asks him about all these things, and he's just like, oh, I have it just in case girls think it makes me cool. I have that because it makes girls think I'm cool. And then he has like a whole tin box full of pictures of Ali Sheedy, and she's flattered by it by some reason and not just kind of creeped out. It's just
it didn't creep her out in the slightest.
Yeah, it is very obvious that men wrote this. I'm a little disappointed in Joel Schumacher. I can't say I'm surprised because I don't know his work well enough, but Carl Kurlander, I have no idea who that is. It's an extremely problematic movie, and not just like a feminist way. It's just like a humanist way. It's very like, even in the 80s, these should have been red flags to people. Like I don't understand why people like this movie at all.
It's rough. Literally, you take any character from this movie, you're more than likely going to hate them, especially if you watch it today. I mean, if back then, I'm sure it might have been a little different story.
I think
because I think back then it was, oh yeah, boys will be boys mentality.
Yeah.
So like all this stuff does make sense. But yeah, everyone was a piece of shit in this movie except for Wendy. Wendy was the best character out of all of them. Most well-rounded. She was independent, but her only flaw was she kept going back to Rob Lowe's character, which understandable in a way. But also, come on, girl, get your life together. You can do it.
Get your life together.
And all the parents in this movie, all they cared about, no matter which finger you pointed at, all cared about marriage. And that was really it, and having babies. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Nothing else to talk about.
I think the second least problematic character is Ali Sheedy's character, Leslie, who is the one who gets cheated on, but she's still extremely flawed. They're all very snobbish. Like they all went to Georgetown. They all come from rich families, except for maybe Rob Lowe's character. He this kind of hinted that he has like a somewhat impoverished upbringing, but not really like dived into too much. And they're all like working for senators and shit, and it's just no one in this movie is likable. Like even a little bit. It's just
you would expect a movie like this to At a certain point, you can get a connection, maybe, with some of these, and you would hope by the end of the movie that all of them would maybe have a redemption with each other. No, not
at all.
really, not genuinely at all. Really, the only redemption is well, not even redemption. The only true quality that they have is that they do grow up from going to a bar to maybe a supper, or like not supper, but like a brunch.
Brunch, which they
So,
said
like,
to
that-
have at 1 p.m. or something, which is,
Yeah.
my knowledge, is not brunch, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's, I mean, like 11 is a brunch.
Yeah.
But they all, you can get that one aspect. You're like, yeah, at 22, I started going to brunches instead of bars. It makes sense.
Yep.
But really, nobody actually had an arc, really.
Not at all.
Nobody really had an arc. Nobody really had some sort of manner that you were like, all right, definitely that person I'm happier about. I'm so happy that it was just kind of a bullshit movie, to be honest.
The closest thing you have to an arc is Rob Lowe's character realizing he doesn't want to work in politics and he wants to become a musician. That's the closest thing you have to an arc, and that is not an arc because he doesn't.
And then the closest runner-up would be Ali Sheedy's character, which she's kind of stepping away from a toxic relationship, and also
Yeah.
this guy who's toxically in love with her, closetedly until the end of the movie, and then he's overbearingly in love with her, and then so like she gets to kind of step out of that friends group. And I was hoping by the end they would all kind of just separate ways and like depart from each other, and like you have the hints that, oh, these guys probably aren't going to be friends. Like in my mind, for sure. Like I know none of these guys are going to be friends after this, because I lived that. But it all kind of symbolizes that they're all going to still be hanging out, and it's like I hope they don't.
Yeah,
for their sanity and my own.
They're
I really
all
hope they
terrible people and make each other worse. And my biggest complaint about this movie was the way they depicted people trying to get on welfare. Like all the other things, I get was just made in a time of like toxic Hollywood, in a decade where the boys will be boys mentality was thriving, but they made this mother of like 5 or 6 children trying to get on welfare look like she was trying to like trick the system or something by not
she's
wanting
just
to
like, give me
find-
my check. Give me my check. Give me my check.
Like it's just it had whoever wrote that part has a very terrible idea of what welfare is. Like, yeah, obviously there are people like that, but they're few and far between. So to depict a welfare job as dealing with people like that constantly is a terrible thing.
Yeah, and then the welfare lady with the kids was right off the bat just like, honey, you need to get yourself a man so you don't have to do what I'm about to do, or just some shit like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she was like, yeah, you need to get your panties out of a bunch and get a man who could pay for your life. And it was just like, what?
What? It was just, it's a terrible movie with terrible people. Honestly, the best part of this movie was a kind of, I texted you about this. There is at one point they think that Kevin, who is played by Andrew McCarthy, is gay because he doesn't want to have sex with anyone but Ali Sheedy, but he doesn't tell people that he wants to have sex with Ali Sheedy. So everyone's just, oh yeah, he's gay. And when everyone's saying that he's gay or telling him that he's gay, he's wearing a red plaid shirt with green camouflage pants.
Yep.
And the note I wrote was just like, no way Kevin is gay when he's wearing a red plaid shirt on camouflage pants. ... Am I gay?
Well, do you also wear a blazer with that?
He wore a blazer with it too. Terrible style. No self-respecting gay man. No self-respecting man at all, really, should be wearing that. But definitely not a gay man who has better fashion sense than us slobbo, straight, cis people.
Yeah, the most realistic thing to me in this movie was when it was Ali Sheedy's character and Demi Moore's character went to like lunch with Wendy, and then like they all were just kind of like eaten with like kind of the homeless people, just the welfare people, and then like there's just an old lady just like staring and listening in on the whole conversation. That was the most realistic thing to me. Literally, it was like a 5-minute conversation. This old lady's just grilling this conversation. She's sipping the tea. You know what I'm saying? She's all up in it, and that was the most realistic thing to me because I do the same shit. I'm with the old lady. But at a certain point, I can see why people like this movie. I could definitely see why people liked it back then for sure, because they were part of that Brat Pack movie extravaganza. It definitely did not age well, and it's definitely a good showmanship of how you shouldn't have this type of friend circle. If you have this type of friend circle, get away from them.
Absolutely.
Real bad.
Absolutely.
Also, I think, and I'm not sure, I didn't do research on this, I think Rob Lowe's character might have been some inspirational material for Stranger Things. Billy character, because they were like the same, almost, at least looks wise, they were like the same character.
Oh yeah,
because they were both Billies, they both had one earring and mullets, and they were both handsome motherfuckers.
Yeah, and both pieces of shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Although, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, does Billy in Stranger Things have kind of an arc in season 3?
Oh, Billy has an amazing arc.
Because I know it's always the pieces of shit that in Stranger Things that have the best arc. Like, what's his name? Steve,
yeah.
Steve, he's the best character in the entire thing. I remember hating Billy until, without getting into spoilers, something happens, and I remember him having a kind of redemption. And
I really liked Billy's arc.
Yeah.
Like,
and
really.
They never have the decent characters have good arcs. Maybe it's because they don't have anywhere else to go.
Well, it's because they're already decent, yeah.
Yeah, but I love Billy's arc. I love Steve's arc. And but the difference is Steve's arc keeps getting better and better.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's the best character in that show. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
But yeah, I actually, before, in the middle of me watching this movie, my mom called me up. She's like, hey, what are you doing? Also, what are we doing for your birthday? I'm like, first off, I'm watching St. Elmo's Fire. And she's like, that is a great movie. I'm like, well, yeah. She's like, why you say that? I'm like, it definitely is showing its age. It's not, she's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Hey,
like,
if
okay,
people can admit
at least
it,
you acknowledge it.
yeah, I have no problem with like people still liking the movie or, you know, reminiscing, having nostalgia for it, but it is did not age well.
Yeah, because she immediately went like, come on, it's the Brat Pack, man. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up with it, Mom. I understand, but at least you acknowledge that it's got its flaws, you know.
All Brat Pack movies are slightly problematic. Even The Breakfast Club has that one scene with Judd Nelson just sticking his face in Molly Ringwald's crotch. People.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much more I really have to say about this movie.
We're just gonna end it with me saying sticking his face in Molly Ringwald's crotch, and then
I'll say this: when Rob Lowe's character was talking with Demi Moore at the end of the movie. I mean, I guess I could say spoilers. She's kind of freaking the fuck out. It's pretty much about what Mike said earlier with the
in the dumbest way possible.
Crisis. Yeah.
She's trying to freeze herself to death by having all the windows open and the doors locked.
Yeah. At one point in the conversation between the two characters, which are probably both the worst, relatively worst characters, not comparing to Emilio Estevez, who is a literal psycho. He at one point talks about St. Elmo's Fire and how it's like a burning light in darkness or some shit like that. And as soon as he said that, I did the Cinema Sins thing where I go roll credits because I was like, please be done, please. I had really wished that I was a writer back then and this movie had ended with the bar burning down and them all separating ways or some shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
And just being like, oh well, this was our point in life, and this is where we all came together and had good times. What do we do now? And then all realizing what kind of life they've actually had or some shit, and then like splitting apart from it. That's how I wished it went down.
Yeah.
But instead
we got a very stupid movie.
Like, as soon as I saw the bar was named St. Elmo's Fire, I really wish the bar, St. Elmo's, burned down.
It would have been better.
That would have been it. Like, that would have been so simple.
Especially if one of them died in the fire.
We should rewrite St. Elmo's Fire.
We should rewrite it as a feminist thriller where all of these women get revenge on these terrible men.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, high fives. Let's go.
High five.
I'm gonna get you a red, lacy baby doll Nike.
Alec, I'm very happy in your old pajamas.
Oh, I'm happy when you're out of my old pajamas.
Alec is becoming a Republican and he wants to get married. Oh my God.
Do you ever feel like you're not accomplishing anything at all?
I think I'm in touch with that emotion.
You're not gonna believe how out of hand it's gonna be.
Anyway, that is our review. I guess that brings us to the judgment. So, Glenjamin Button, this was your pick, so you go first. Is this a little shelf boy with his pants hiked high?
No.
No. It doesn't even deserve like a build-up. I agree.
Like I said, I could see the hype about this 30 years ago. Not now.
It's very,
not even 30 years yet, but still.
It's very nostalgic for people who grew up in that time, which I can definitely
it's
see.
It's got the cast, but the personality of the characters and the characters themselves and just the plot, and it's just all not good.
The thing is, I've always rooted for Emilio Estevez until I saw this movie, and I was just like, he needs to get hit by a truck or drive off a cliff.
Literally, I was honestly hoping during after the kiss scene with him and the Dale character that he would. I was really hoping he had the kiss. He won that. He did it for himself, and then he couldn't get out of the driveway. I was really hoping for it because there was just snow everywhere. He's in like fucking Canada or some shit at this point. But I was really hoping he'd get I was really hoping he'd get stuck in the snow.
Nowhere around DC has mountains like that. Maybe Virginia, but they still don't have mountains like that. Those were like obviously California mountains.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or Pennsylvania, who knows?
Yeah, so that movie, St. Elmo's Fire, which I nearly forgot the name of, does not make it onto the list with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. That brings us to our plugs for this week. Benjamin, what is your plug? My
plug's hilarious. I won't be shy about it. I stumbled upon it. I watched the whole thing. It's. Do we know the good boy Tommy Wiseau?
Yeah, I wouldn't call him a good boy, but yes.
Well, somebody kind of made their own like fan flick, basically starring Tommy in all of his parts, basically from The Room. But they plugged it into Star Wars and made it their own story. So it revolves around Tommy and his character in The Room. But basically, Star Wars revolves around him instead of plugging him into certain sections into the movie. So they made their own story of Star Wars from all the other, like all the content of Star Wars, but put him in scenes where it made sense and made its own story. So this is actually hilarious because of how weirdly it goes and how actually kind of funny it is.
Yeah.
This is going to be called The Saga Star Wars with Tommy Wiseau, The Full Story, and that is going to be on YouTube, on Pistol Shrimps YouTube specifically.
You're so beautiful.
Because I love you very much.
No. No, it's because I'm so in love with you.
You know what they say, love is blind.
Well, that's not exactly what I mean.
I'm tired, I'm wasted. I love you, darling.
So there you
Well,
go.
that sounds fun.
It sounds nice.
So my plug, I may have plugged this before, but honestly, I was struggling to find something, and I wanted to plug this. I am tired of not being able to travel when I want to, and I think people should watch the TV series Travel Man with Richard Ayoade.
I don't think
or
I've done this,
Ayoade,
actually.
however you pronounce his name. And it's a British show where he essentially goes on weekend trips with a bunch of celebrities, mostly comedians, so it's pretty funny, to different locations for a weekend. And he is an introverted agoraphobe by his definition, so he hates traveling. So his whole persona throughout, I'm sure he doesn't actually hate it, but that's the persona he has in this. His whole persona throughout is to travel as efficiently and quickly as possible to get the hell out of there and go home. So it's really funny. You can check out a bunch of clips of that, including full episodes on YouTube, or you could find episodes for the first 5 seasons, I believe, on Pluto, which is a free platform. So that is The Travel Man with Richard Ayoade, or Ayoade.
To mini breakers to suck the cup of a mug. How and Shiz can assist to get on point without getting peeved. But do not let salt tears soak your bosom, for I, the captain of chaff, Richard Ayoade, am here to get your tiny trips crisp.
Belted to a bushel of exhausted entertainers, I'm going to globally gob off.
We're here, but should we have come?
Sí.
Thank you for that.
Gracias.
It's nice to bring in the language.
Molto bene. Ciao.
Okay, diminishing returns.
Those are our plugs for this week. That brings us to our assignment for next week. It is Netflix Roulette. Ooh. So as some of you know, but for those of you who don't, the way this works is we spin the roulette wheel 3 times. Oh yeah, streaming roulette. I'm so sorry. They changed that on us recently. Anyway, so streaming roulette, the way it works is we spin the wheel 3 times and we pick the movie that is most interesting to us out of those 3 movies, unless the film gods tell us to spin a 4th time.
Look at you, Foxbat.
Yeah. So without any further ado, here comes the first spin. The Jones Family Will Make a Way.
What a long title.
Yeah. From 2015, so it is within our
parameters.
Parameters. It tells the story for 30 years. Bishop Fred Jones and his family have performed on Southern gospel circuit, largely unseen by those outside the Pentecostal faith. I'm not going to go any more into that. It is a documentary directed by Alan Berg and written by Alan Berg and Lauren Sanders, and that is available on Amazon Prime. That is our first choice. Spin number 2. Escape from L.A. Oh,
wow.
Yeah. As we all know, that is starring Kurt Russell.
Who I am a huge fan of.
It is written and directed by John Carpenter, starring Kurt Russell, Steve Buscemi, Peter Fonda, Cliff Robertson, etc., etc. Snake Plissken is once again called in by the United States government to recover a potential doomsday device from Los Angeles, now an autonomous island where undesirables are deported. All I know is that this includes him surfing on a tidal wave. I have seen Escape from New York. This is the sequel to that. Probably don't need to know much about Escape from New York to watch Escape from LA.
They're kind of the same movie in a way.
Yeah, really. So that is our second spin. Spinning for the third and final time. Doctor. Dukhtar. From 2014. Looks to be from India. Maybe Pakistan. Let me see. It's from Pakistan. In the mountains of Pakistan, a mother and her 10-year-old daughter flee their home. On the eve of the girl's marriage to the tribal leader, a deadly hunt for them begins. It is written and directed by Afia Nathaniel, starring Samia Mumtaz, Mohib Mirza, Saleha Aref, and Asif Khan. And that is on somewhere. That is on Netflix. So those are our 3 movies: Escape from L.A., Dukhtar and the Jones family will make a way.
Now listen. Okay. Here's the deal. I'm all about Kurt Russell. About 95% of the time. I'm not against the Jones family will make a way because I see some good ratings here. I see some really good ratings. I haven't watched Escape from LA in a long time. Dukhtar, I'm sorry. It's not even on the shelf for me compared to the other two.
See, Dukhtar looks interesting to me. The Jones family will find a way.
Let's see. What was this one about? In the mountains of Pakistan,
essentially a mother helps her daughter escape from a arranged marriage.
Oh, okay.
Which sounds pretty fucking dope to me. After the last time that we had to have the forbidden fourth spin, we got some pretty good choices here.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm leaving this one up to you.
Ooh. If that is the case, I'm going to write...
I have seen L.A., but I haven't seen it in quite a while.
Yeah.
And obviously the other two I haven't.
I'm going to write down Dukhtar, because that does seem interesting to me, but we're going to go with Escape from L.A., because after I'm done this film shoot, I'm probably going to want to watch some mindless fun.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to the theater. For everyone's enjoyment, we'd like to remind you of the following rules. No talking. No smoking. No littering. No red meat. No freedom of religion. And remember, all marriages must be approved by the Department of Health. Failure to obey these rules will result in immediate loss of citizenship and deportation to the island of Los Angeles. Enjoy the show.
Your rules are really beginning to annoy me.
We ran a psycho profile on him using a database of 5 million sociopathic personalities. He hit the bottom of the curve.
Catches on quick, doesn't she?
This town loves a winner.
Let's say we play a little Bangkok rules. Nobody draws until this hits the ground. You ready? Draw. You got a problem with that?
So we will be watching Escape from LA. That is available on Amazon Prime for those of you who would like to watch it before listening to our podcast. And as always, you can check out our website, www.keystonefilmreview.com. On Instagram, we're Keystone_film_review. Twitter, Keystone_film. Facebook, Keystone Film Review. YouTube, Keystone Film Review. And we promise we'll eventually make more videos on there. It's very difficult at the moment. And on Letterboxd, I am Mike KFR.
And I am Glenn KFR.
And that will do it until next week when we surf a tidal wave with one-eyed Kurt Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.